I am proud of my country's heritage. We're living on freedom soil. Brave men have gone before me here, unafraid to pray and toil.
I had started to point out that these words, of the people, by the people, and for the people, are in the documents. I'm going to show you that right now. I want to talk about this to the people. This is a phrase that's in the Declaration one time. It's 4 times in these ratification letters, very important letters. And you have to understand as you read through these, I'm going to give you a link. I'll put up a link where you can go to get the ratification letters, maybe a couple of them. And the one thing is, on the one, if you just change the last 2 letters, it'll be like NY. If you change that to NC, you get North Carolina's. If you change it to SC, you get South Carolina's. You know, you get the picture. And basically speaking, you can get these letters and you can read through them, okay? I'll go through highlights from them that I think are useful, but you should read through. And some of them are short, some of them are not so short, but definitely something you can understand. The reason they're not taught is because they basically define what the 9th and 10th Amendments are. The 9th and 10th Amendment restrict the government. And it's the nature of government not to want to be restricted. So and the thing you have to ask is that a good idea to restrict the government? Okay. Are we better off with an unrestricted government? And then let's ask why. Why did the people who made our Constitution actually restrict the government? Okay. Declare, do this, restrict them to only that. Why did they do that? What was their reasoning? Is it a good reason? Is it perhaps better than all the reasons given not to restrict the government? Now, these are questions you got to think about. We're dealing with what the people who actually made the Constitution said. Again, not my idea. I didn't write this stuff. I'm just showing it to you. Okay, don't shoot the messenger. There's 2 in the powers in the 10th Amendment, okay? It says the powers not delegated to the United States. In this context, that's the government. Actually, the first 3 drafts of the proposed Constitution had that statement that it's the form is the United States. That's basically the name of the government, the United States. Okay, it's also in the Articles of Confederation. Did not make the final draft, but in this context, when it's talking about the United States, it's talking about the government of the United States. By the Constitution, powers not delegated, okay, nor prohibited by it to the states. There are a few things that states are not allowed to do. Can't, make treaties with other countries, can't go to war with other countries all by themselves. If they get invaded, they can fight anybody, and we'll come fight with them because it's united, and we'll go through all that. Reserved, they're reserved to the states respectively or to the people, and we'll go through this, but there's the to the people, okay? The phrase for the people, remember, of the people, by the people, for the people. For the people is in New Jersey's ratification letters, and it said, be it enacted by the Council and General Assembly of this state, and is hereby enacted by the authority of the same, that it shall and may be lawful for the people thereof by their delegates to meet in convention, to deliberate upon, and if approved by them, to ratify this Constitution. That's what I was talking about. They had delegates, and then they decided whether or not they were going to take the Constitution. That's where then the amendments come from. The phrase of the people in the First Amendment, and this is in our Constitution quite a bit. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of the speech or of the press or of the right of the people peacefully to assemble. So you have 2 things there. Freedom of speech and freedom of press are not the same thing. They're 2 separate items. I want you to remember that. That gets to be a little important as we go through what goes on today. Okay, the right of the people peacefully to assemble, okay? We can define peacefully here, but I can guarantee you it's not burning down somebody else's property. So peacefully it's in there. And to petition the government for regressive grievances, that is absolutely something we want to hold on to. That is okay. Of the people. So a Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary security of a free state. They use this phrase, safe and free, in the ratification letters when they talk about this militia stuff. And just so you know, they're very specific that it's the people, the individual people, not the militia that's supposed to be armed. And also, just so you understand, the militia is not the National Guard. There is an organized militia, which is still not the National Guard, and then there's the unorganized militia. Both of these are in the documents. I'll show you those. And so it's the people. And we can go through the history of that. They basically are what actually won the Revolutionary War with the British, that and the French. But that being said, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay. The Fourth Amendment says the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects, which might cover what's on your computer, again, or your phone, against unreasonable search and seizure shall not be violated, even by Google or by Apple. And by the people, the phrase by the people, Article 1, Section 2, the House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states. And the Ninth Amendment ends with disparaging other rights retained by the people. The 17th Amendment, the Senate and the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state elected by the people thereof for 6 years. And that's also in 6 of the ratification letters, which we remember are very important. So Lincoln got this phrase apparently from Theodore Parker. And he was a minister of the 28th Congregational Society. And he did a sermon in Boston Music Hall, okay, on July 4th. That's the birthday. And he did that in 1858, coming up on our war, Civil War. And he said this: democracy is direct self-government over all the people, by all the people, for all the people, in his sermon. It's a really good sermon. I'll try to put that in the library, along with a lot of these other documents on my website. As far as I can tell, that's the only place this is. I haven't found any place else where this actually comes from. It was done before Lincoln did his, and some people say that somebody who knew Lincoln heard this or heard of this and passed it on to Lincoln, and he added it into the Gettysburg Address. So this phrases, these words are in our constitutional documents: of the people, by the people, for the people, government thereof. And that government thereof is, as I described it, okay, it based on the 9th and 10th Amendment, the people, okay, declare specifically this is what you can do, and then restrict the government to nothing else. Power always is retained to the people, and if we want to change it, we will vote to make those changes. We'll go on with this. We'll see other points. It takes a while to build all this. If you've got questions, you can send me an email, and I'll put my address up there. But hopefully, as I go ahead, I'll answer all your questions. You know, they will be answered as I go through this. We'll go on with this.
Yes, our God still bears his mighty arm when men to him are loyal. Yes, our God still bears his mighty arm when men to him are loyal.